Hey, girly, you're listening to the Girl Uprising podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about real life, real healing, and what it really means to grow and to glow up. I'm your host, Akila, founder, mentor, and your big sister on the mic. This is a space for honest conversations, for soft moments, and for bold reminders that you don't have to have it all figured out to just start to just start showing up for yourself. So do this one thing for me. Go ahead and grab your journal, grab your tea, or whatever makes you feel comfortable, and let's get into it. All right, everybody, this is season 4 of the Girl Uprising podcast. I was in season 3 forever. I was in season 3 forever. Just trying to become more consistent with the episodes that I put out. And I don't know if y'all noticed, but this season more so had a lot of guests. Just trying something new, trying to get people's voices out. Um, just trying to expand the podcast for sure. But like I said, this is season 4. We're starting off with new guests, new topics, and I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. Let's get into it. Today, I have my first guest of season 4. And this is someone who is near and dear to me. And as she talks, you will understand why. She reminds me a lot of myself at 25. And for this season, the goal is to interview more people who are younger than me, teenagers, young women in their 20s, because I want people to understand like what life can be like, that we've all made mistakes and just kind of the journey that it took to get us where we are. And so I'm going to go ahead and let my first guest introduce herself. So here we go. Hey, Lenny.
Hi guys. My name is Lynn. I am a social worker obtaining my LMSW, which is my license master. So basically, I'll be master level social worker. I am the founder and CEO of Written LLC, which is basically a guided journal to help you recreate and redefine your life story through healing and writing. And the whole premise of that is basically, it kind of actually derives from narrative therapy. I don't know if you ever heard that before.
No.
But narrative therapy, that's actually real therapy. And
Okay.
it's a form of therapy that basically is centered around the individual reauthoring their life. And it's through their story. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the main premise of it, it's like, what's your story and like what you're telling yourself. And it's basically separating the individual from their like experiences, because a lot of times let's give an example. I don't know if I'm starting too
Yeah, I
fast.
mean,
Okay.
hey,
I don't know.
do you? No,
Yeah.
no, you're good.
So like, let's say example, I don't want to say failed the test. It's not. Or let's say you were given up for adoption when you were younger. I've never experienced that, but I would assume a lot of people who experience being given up for adoption, they probably grew up thinking like they weren't wanted, or, my parents didn't want me, especially if they don't really know the backstory, So it's like a lot of times you will carry that story with you, and you might carry the story of you were never wanted, or you were never loved, or X, Y, and Z. So it's separating that, like, okay, yes, you were adopted and you may have never met your parents, or you may not ever even know why your parents, gave you up, but it's just separating that. So yeah, that's where that really came from. Like I said, I don't know how heavy you were. Okay. But yeah, so yeah, that's really where it came from. Just the whole idea of just really the rewritten LLC, taking, your power back and understanding that, like, your story really doesn't define you at the end of the day. So.
I like that. I like that. Thank you for educating us. Thank you. Thank you for educating us, y'all. One of the reasons why I asked, can I call you Lynn?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the reasons why I asked Lynn to be on the podcast is because she's popping, young and in her 20s, and I want our listeners to kind of, get a woman's perspective at every age. Who you were at 15, 16 is not the same as 25 or even like 30 or even 35. Like, we progress and we grow, and we all have like a story to tell. So I was like, I got to get her on the podcast. On the podcast. So let me ask a question, or let me just start with this question. You're 18, okay? How would your 18-year-old self describe you today?
That's a good question.
Thanks.
Yeah. I feel like my 18-year-old self would probably be very like shocked and surprised. But as far as describing myself, she would definitely say like she's bold. Lynn is definitely more bold. She would describe me as someone who's confident and puts herself first. So yeah, bold, confident, putting herself first, and someone who's continuously like thriving, you know, in healing and learning and unlearning, and yeah.
So somebody that she would be proud of.
Basically, yeah. I feel like definitely my 18-year-old self would be proud of me. And the reason why I said shocked is because I'm not sure if my 18-year-old self saw me doing the things that I am doing. Now that I think about it, because I'm like 18, I was just started college, and it's so funny. I actually didn't even want to go to college.
Why?
So that's why I think I wasn't really a school person.
Really?
I wasn't. You know, it's so crazy. I didn't want to go to college. Wasn't a school person and graduated with honors.
Listen.
I did very well. Yeah.
See?
So that's why I'm like, That's why I'm like, I think she might honestly be shocked.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I learned that I've always like really, really liked school, like formal education. But I've learned that just because someone goes through elementary or like middle school and they aren't doing as well or like average, that really does not mean that they won't do well in life. I think you have to kind of just tap into what that person likes as an individual, because you just don't know. Like, people change. So that's very interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. It's so interesting. So it's like,
Very interesting. Okay. So what surprised you, or what has surprised you about being like a woman in her 20s? Like, what's the craziest thing about life right now?
Oh my God. The craziest thing about life, I would say, is what surprised me the most slash craziest thing is the relationships, and not even just romantic, platonic and romantic. And then, because if you think about it, when I was 18 and younger, or even in college, majority of my friends were students, you know, like it's really not hard, at least for me, it wasn't really hard making friends in college and in school. I don't know for you, if it was it easy for you? Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, I progressed a little bit. Well, I progressed a lot. Me, 18 and younger, very shy.
Really? You're
Oh my gosh, like very shy, very like, if I knew you at 12, you were my friend. Like, not really into making new friends. I went to college, cut my hair, girl, and just became. So that was just.
Yeah. Oh, that is so cool. I love that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
would definitely say the relationship aspect in job or careers, because it's like I worked when I was in college, but it was mainly student jobs. But it's like now that I'm an adult, I'm realizing the importance of your career. Not that your career makes or breaks you or identifies you, no. But if you think about it, we dedicate 40 hours of our week towards this thing.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
that's it. You know, I'm not going to act like your career is not important, because to a degree it is, you know. And if you think about it, when I was a little bit younger, life looked different. Like,
Absolutely.
you know, $30, $40, $50 would get me a long way.
Listen.
Now life is not like that. So now I would say definitely the career, relationships, romantic and platonic. And then also realizing I actually do have a choice in the roles that I choose to partake in, and then the people that I have around me. Because I think younger me just always felt like, oh, whoever's around me is my friend, or whoever, you know. But I'm like, I'm realizing I actually do have autonomy, and I'm not like the 8-year-old that needs permission from anyone. It's like, if I don't want you in my space, I literally have the right to say no. You know, so I would say that's definitely the shocking part of so far being a woman in my 20s. Yeah.
Okay. So careers. So where are you now as far as careers? Like, are you in a place where you're comfortable and you're just like, I want to expand in the current role, or are we looking to, maybe get another certification? Like, where are we?
Definitely, like I said earlier, definitely the license. I
Mm-hmm.
for sure want to expand, not necessarily in my current role. The current role is cool, but I eventually want to expand and do more within my career.
Hmm.
'Cause especially with social work, I feel like social work is already is has its own little box of, taking people's kids away and working for CPS anyway.
Mm.
So I don't know if you've ever heard that, but social work, that was always like when I used to tell people, oh, I'm in social work, they're like, oh, you're gonna work for CPS, you're gonna take people's kids away. And it's like, there's actually social workers that work in the White House. Like there are
Really?
social workers, yeah.
Mm.
Social work can go as far as working in the White House, making policies
Mm.
and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to go that route though, but I'm just letting the world know that hey, we
It's
don't just
possible.
it's possible. We don't just always work at CPS guys, but no. So yeah, definitely getting my license.
Okay.
Obviously, more license, more opportunities, more
Mm-hmm.
money, of course. And yeah, I would definitely say that's where I am now. Is this something I would retire in? I'm
Mm-hmm.
not too sure because and that's another thing in the 20s I realized it is okay to pivot,
Ooh.
it's really okay. Like just because I got my degree in this
Yeah.
does not mean I have to stay in it
Mm-mm.
because I can be 30 and realize I want to be a nurse and I have the right to go back to school to be a
As you
nurse.
should. As you
So
should.
as far as right now, I do like it because I will say that about me. Social work was something I've always picked and I've never changed my mind. Like, you know how like people change their like
Aww.
majors? Never. She said, oh, I have never, ever, ever changed my major. I always knew I wanted to do social because I like
Aww.
helping people.
Okay.
Now that I am in the field, I'm realizing that there are other
Mm-hmm.
aspects to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's politics behind these
Mm.
things. And,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, if it was up to me, I wish I could help everyone that comes across my caseload, but there's
Mm-hmm.
strings behind me. So,
Oh.
and that's another shocking thing too. Is
Yeah.
I never really realized the politics of work because when I was in
Mm.
college and I worked, I was just there to just get a check, get my hair done.
I needed some bundles, so that was the
I just
priority.
needed homecoming fit. But when you're an adult and you're actually working, and I'm actually in meetings where my
Yeah.
feedback is being, your feedback is not being asked when you're a student worker. It's like now that I'm, working and I'm actually in these meetings, I'm realizing like, wait, I don't, there's a lot of politics
Yeah,
behind these things, and
it
it's giving
is.
business and not social work.
It is though. And
Yeah.
so like you now have a backseat view of how things go and like why people do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Like from the outside looking in, you're just like, oh, if you're at a job, why don't you just leave the job? Well, come on. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables that go into certain things. So let's see, you at your position, right? You how long have you been there?
A year
A
and a
year.
half. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Um, what would your dream job be, or what would you be doing if like money wasn't a factor, education wasn't a factor? What would you be doing?
Oh, traveling. Oh
Doing
my
what?
gosh. I love just traveling abroad. If it was up to me, I would
Mm-hmm.
love to travel abroad right now,
Hmm.
do service projects.
Mm.
Whether I work 3 months in, I don't know, Costa Rica
Mm-hmm.
at like a children's school, or
Mm.
then go to a country in Africa and work another 6 months somewhere. Like
Mm.
I would love to do like service projects
Mm.
like that. Obviously, of course, if money was a thing, because I know with
Mm-hmm.
service projects, you don't really always get paid. Sometimes you get
Yeah.
paid by staying at a host house or
Mm.
whatever. So if it was up to me, I would literally be, I don't want to say backpacking the world per se, but
Mm.
traveling the world. I don't
Yeah.
want to say backpacking, but I'd be traveling the world doing service projects. Of course, still definitely pouring into rewritten.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I told you, but I want to have a storefront for rewritten. So that's
Mm.
something I'm still trying to figure out the kind of
Okay.
vibe that I want. Like I want it to be coffee shop, bookstore, and then obviously, of course, my journals will also be in there as well
Okay.
too. And but
Okay.
we'll discuss that one later too. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna show you what it looks like because ChatGPT actually mocked up something for me. I'm gonna show it to you.
Yeah, make sure
Yeah.
you send it to me so
Yeah.
I can plug it into this episode.
Yeah.
You said something about it being okay to like pivot. I think growing up, I'll say life after college. I was just like, no, you got to stay the course,
Yeah.
right? So even though things don't look the way that they're supposed to look, I'm like, it would eventually get better. But that was like one of the like biggest life lessons I've learned, I guess, since I graduated from like undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to pivot. Like even if other people don't agree with you, right? So other people like, you went to school for social work and you just want to start? Yeah, because that's what I want to do.
Yeah, literally.
And it's okay. Like, we think that, like, I'm telling you one, because okay, they're like, go to school for something to make you money. Definitely be strategic about going to school, but you really have to like what you do.
You do.
And the money will follow.
I do.
Like, seriously, like, we live in a gig economy where you can make, it's this little baby. I've seen him
Like
on
a real
TikTok.
baby?
A little baby.
Oh.
He makes money, or his mom makes money,
Yeah.
from him sniffing candles.
I think I've seen it.
See?
Wow.
And here we are. Like, what? You see what I'm saying? What?
Yeah.
So you can't tell me that a talent or a passion that you have can't be the driver of you being successful in your eyes. Like, pivoting, I'm telling you, like, that's the thing to do. Move if you need to. Take that new job, especially like when you don't have huge ties like kids or yeah. Because look, I'm telling you, when 2020 hit, I finally had a chance to like sit and say, okay, so what am I gonna do? Right? I was like, everything that I want to do, I'm gonna at least attempt. Like, I don't want to sit back and say, I should have moved to Texas, you know.
Oh, I love that, Akila.
Yes. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, like, COVID was horrible for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It did me well because prior to that, like, I literally was in school. I was waitressing. I mean, on the go. I never sat down. And so when COVID hit, I was like,
what do I do?
In the house, like, panic attack. So I'm journaling. I'm getting back to those things that I used to do, journaling, walking outside, like taking pictures of flowers, like just things that make me like happy. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to attempt to do the things that I want to do because I don't want to look back and say, if I would have just moved, like, what's the worst that could have happened? I was like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I love that you said that because, you know how you asked me about, like, if money wasn't an issue? I generally would love to live abroad, even if it's not forever. It could be as little as a year or 2 years. I want to experience being able to live abroad. And when you said that, I was thinking a few months ago, I would hate to look back at my life and realize I never moved abroad. I never, you know, actually ended up opening up the rewritten storefront. You know, like there are some things that if I don't get to do, I'd probably be like, you know, you know how there's some stuff it's just like, okay, I didn't do that. It's not a big deal. But there are some things that I'm like, oh no, if I looked back and I didn't do that, that would actually like kind of make me like sad a little bit and make me realize. Because if you think about it, a lot of the times, nothing is really stopping you for real. Like, in some cases, could there be some factors? Yes. But like what you said, when you don't have a child, you're not married, you don't have ties, when you really sit and think about it, it's like, what is stopping you? And majority of the time, it really, at least for me, I can only speak for me, it's really fear and just overthinking.
Listen.
It's thinking what people would say, might say. Yep. How would it come off? It's like it's like a pressure that you really can't see, if that makes sense. It's like it's like there's an influence and a pressure, but I can't really name it or see it, but I know it's something that's kind of holding me back.
I think it's logical. You know, it's like, you know that if you go, you know, just like a few weeks without working, it's like, ooh, may not be able to pay my bills, right? You know, it's logical. And especially if you try to do something before and if you failed. But what we don't understand is like, it happens. Like, you're going to try something and it may not work out the way that you wanted to work out. It's okay. Take a breather and try it again or pivot. Like, try it again or pivot. Listen, yeah, they kicked me out of grad school, and I was like, go to the school and blow it up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how dare you take all my money and then I'm not gonna graduate. Anyway, but I was like just so upset with the fact that, like, dang, like, how did I put myself in this situation? And my supervisor was like, listen, you need to give yourself a date where you're going to stop being upset and you're going to do something about it. I was like,
my mom says that a lot too.
And a date on it. It has really like worked. It's like, okay, it didn't work. They kicked you out. what options or what other things have you done? Like, it's okay. It's like it is okay. And that's like that's another big lesson that like that I've learned and has like stuck with me over the last few years.
I like that.
Yeah.
It really is okay. Like,
Mm.
even down to remember when I was telling y'all about when I, failed my test or whatever. And even when I was in my funk about that,
Yeah.
even with that situation, I had to realize, like, Lynn, it's okay. Like, at the end, it's not the end of the world. You didn't die. You didn't bleed out. The world didn't die. The world didn't end. You are not the only person that has failed the test. It's really okay, but I think what makes it hard when life doesn't happen the way you expect is because of your expectations. No one goes into a test like, I'm gonna fail.
Yeah.
I hope not. Like, I went in like, oh no, I'm going to pass. This is it. I'm about to be licensed. I'm about to be traveling.
Hello, Liddy.
I'm about to be girl. Like, I already, you know how you ever seen those memes where it's like, Black people the only one that calculate their checks before they like get a job. That was me. I was already calculating my life, these checks when I get my LMSW.
What are you balling?
So when I saw fell, it didn't compute.
Death. But it feels like that.
No, it does.
And it's like, and it's okay for you to feel that way. You just can't stay that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, we're not gonna let the fact that we didn't pass lead our life for the rest of our life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. We failed. A little cry, scream, go get some ice cream, take a shot, whatever you got to do. And then it's like, we're going to pick a date to start studying again. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like agree. Another reason why this space is created, because if any of the women, the girls like listening to this podcast, if they tell you, if I say, hey, what's something that you tried to achieve and didn't the first time? List upon list. Yeah. Because it's a human experience we just don't talk about. Yeah. We don't talk about it. Because, it's embarrassing. It's like, was I not smart enough?
Yeah. It'll make you think like that. One thing I'm realizing in life is like, how you do one thing is how you do everything to a certain to a certain extent, because you have some people that do whatever, but it's like in my own personal life, because I feel like you navigate life and then there's things that you navigate in life, if that makes sense. Like, life overall, you navigate life, but then like you navigate job and relationships and spirituality and so on. So it's like, hey, in this area of your life, you failed the test, you're sad, whatever, but you pivot and move forward. The same way you would in a relationship. If you are in a relationship, and especially one that you actually want to be in, when you experience humps and bumps and lumps, whatever, you do have to get over it. You know what I'm saying? You do have to eventually get over it and talk about it and move. You have the right to feel how you feel. If y'all got into argument, you be upset, whatever, but it don't need to be 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, and depending on but that's how I feel too. It's like the same thing in a relationship. It's just like, how am I going to navigate this little roadblock, whether it's romantic, family, of course, to a certain extent, depending on what is happening to, because there's different layers to it. But I think like, same thing with the test. It's like, hey, you failed the test. It sucks. Move on.
And we're all like constantly evolving. So it's like, you may be very good when it comes to school or careers, but when it comes to romantic relationships, it's just like,
that's not your thing.
Yeah, like we aren't perfect, and that's the ghetto part.
Oh, definitely.
But we're striving.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Rewritten and how that came to be, and tell us about that, about it.
So, I think I'm gonna give y'all a backdrop of when I first came about Rewritten and what I actually wanted Rewritten to be. I've talked about it on my page, but I don't really know if people remember that. But
remind us.
Exactly. I originally wanted Rewritten to be a nonprofit, actually, for survivors of abuse, any form of abuse, whether it's verbal, emotional, sexual, so on and so forth. I wanted to be a platform for survivors of abuse to come on anonymously and not necessarily talk about their abuse per se, but just talk about your experience, and like I said, venting anonymously. And then, but I wanted you to also be able to seek help on there as well too. Like I didn't want it to just be, because I wasn't sure if I wanted it to be an app or an actual platform. I guess if it was a platform, it could be an app too, but nonetheless, a nonprofit. We didn't get that far yet, but a nonprofit where you can, seek therapeutic help. Like I wanted to be able to partner with therapists and be able to raise enough money for the nonprofit that, like, if example, you wanted to come and have therapy, your first 3 sessions would be free with the therapist that I partnered with. You get what I'm saying, something along those lines. And then if you wanted to partner with the local law enforcement as well too, because you have some people who were sexually assaulted, and if you wanted to report that crime, but then also seek therapeutic help. So I wanted that, but I think I have a tendency to feel like if things feel like too much, I just kind of like, So I think the more I was looking into it, granted, is starting a nonprofit hard? Probably not. But in my mind, it felt like it at that time. So I was kind of just like, okay, well, maybe I'll just do a journal, because journaling is what helped me with my own personal stuff. And I think I've shared this before, so I don't mind sharing it on the camera. But when I was younger, I was abused myself too. So I was like, as I got older, journaling is what helped me. So I kind of was like, journaling, starting off by selling a physical journal, a guided journal, because I didn't want it to just be a plain journal with no questions, because just like, then what's the point? Like I wanted to be intentionally towards your story and unraveling your story from literally past, present, and future, because that's basically how I broke down the journal, basically. Of course, it doesn't say past, present, future, but that's basically what it is, the way that the questions exactly are questioned or what have you. And so that's how it was. I started the selling the actual journals itself. And then, of course, I still do have future plans for it. Like I said, I eventually want it to be an actual brick and mortar where you can come into the space. And then you can also get journals, you can also get books, coffee, so on and so forth. And I want it to be an actual community. Like I don't want it to just be like, oh, you just came here, got a book, left. If anyone wants to ever rent the space for a small group or whatever, you can. Or, you thinking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at you like, you thinking. But I wish I can show it on here, but it used to be my screensaver. I had ChatGPT literally make a whole mock-up. And it was so nice. And it had like a community wall on there, like a gratitude wall. Because I would want, and then I also would want on the tables, like some of the journal prompts on the table. But I don't know how I would have that yet, but.
Yeah, I'm thinking and thank you for sharing your story. I'm thinking as you're talking, because I'm just thinking of like a strategy to
Correct.
To get you there.
Yeah.
And so like when I think about like what you're saying, it's not far-fetched like at all. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I do know is that things start in steps. So you have to just start, like you're already doing, as far as like having the journal. It's like, okay, maybe go to like a Black-owned coffee shop or a woman-owned or a minority-owned coffee shop and just have like a little meetup. You know what I'm saying? It could start something like that, or it could be like every first of the month, y'all have this meetup here, right? You build your community, you get incorporated. You know what I'm saying? It starts
somewhere.
It starts by starting. It's one thing that I'm learning, and you just don't know who you're gonna meet along the way that'll say, hey, like, you ever thought about doing this? Just like with this podcast. I was recording the podcast in my room using my cell phone. Yeah. Until somebody asked me, like, you ever thought about shooting at a studio? I'm like, no, I'm not there yet. You don't think that you're there until somebody shows you that you could be there.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that was good, Akila. Yeah.
Seriously. Like, so yeah, just starting like where you are, just keep it going, because if you want it to be whatever, it can be. It seems like a lot, but it's like Rome wasn't built in a day. It's like, it's little things. You know what I'm saying? Little things. Okay, so we're going to be on the lookout for Rewritten, and the mock-up that ChatGPT made. I'm going to plug it. I'm going to plug it up here. So make sure you send it. I got to ask this, though. Okay. We we were talking about relationships, and you was like, that's something that you're learning in your 20s. Well, I want to talk about romantic relationships. Okay. So is like, how is it with dating like now for you, if you don't mind?
No, don't mind.
Okay.
For me personally, with the experiences that I have had, and of course, it's not even necessarily even putting blame on those guys too. Because one thing I'm realizing, like, it takes two people at the end of the day, you know, because I could sit here and blame those men, like, oh, they weren't there, and it's like,
they weren't. Right.
They weren't, but not. But you still did entertain them. Yes. So that's why I don't want to sit here and be like, oh my gosh, they were horrible. Because it's just like, well,
what did you do?
Were they really that horrible? Because you're still talking to them. No, but I would say from my experience, I realize I meet a lot of men that aren't ready to actually really commit. You know, so it's like we'll do the relationship thing. I guess nowadays, what do the kids say? Situationship. No, I'm just kidding.
Girl, please.
Not one of them. The kids. I want to be an auntie so bad, but no,
girl.
So situationship. That's a term that the kids are using. So I guess situationship to where it's like we are doing relationship things. You're showing yourself up in a way where you want to be in a relationship with me. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about marriage. It's not like I'm actively going for men that are. Anyways, it's not like I'm actively going for horrible options, you know? Yeah. I was trying to figure out a way to word it without sounding offensive, but I am going for men that, and I'm realizing the ones that are good on paper, sometimes they're not good. Like the majority of the men I meet, all in their careers, all have degrees, all have goals, whatever. It's not like I'm meeting hoodlums, but
bums on the street.
Yeah, I'm not going for the bums because I feel like they always say, oh, well, women, you guys need to pick better. And I'm like, in some instances, it's really like wolves in sheep clothing, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's like wolves in sheep clothing where it's like you're presenting yourself up as if you are ready for this, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we're dating, cool. And then when it's time for us to have that conversation and moving forward, it's like, no. And it's like, but what do you mean I met your mom?
I thought I was in there. Look, Christmas pictures with matching pajamas.
That's what I don't know. And then I have that experience, and then I have the experience where it's like, we'll probably text for 2 weeks, and the next thing I know, I don't ever hear from you again. And it's like, oh, what happened? You seemed interested. You asked for my number.
I didn't ask for yours.
Okay. So I get a lot of that. I get you're either not, you're showing you're serious, but then you're not. And then I get the ones that on a random Tuesday, I'd never heard from them again. And it's like, oh, did I bother you?
I'm going to say this, and this is really ghetto.
No.
That's dating.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's really, I think it's disheartening when you feel like you're ready for something serious or a commitment. And sometimes it does take like taking a little breather, like a little break, like, okay. Or just like reevaluating
what you want,
what it is that you are attracted to and why. Sometimes that takes like a deep look, like a lot of introspection to say, why do I like what I like? Why do you like what you like? And but that's just dating. I just say keep dating, but you definitely keep dating. But just figure out like, why do I like what I like? And I think as long as you are true to that, and you're just like, I'm not gonna, continue to allow like the BS to go on. If there was like
correct
BS before, like we're learning, you're learning from the experience, of like course. Eventually, you will find somebody who matches what you need.
Yeah. Patrick told me that last night too. That you have to figure out why you attract what you attract. But I will say, I noticed whenever I dated like a man, or dating seemed a little bit more fun, and because I didn't really date with too much of an outcome per se.
Yeah,
it's like in a sense I did date with an outcome because it never really gave. Just be out here, just go with the flow and drowning. But I dated, and when I say dated like a man, just more so in the
Mhm.
sense of not putting too much pressure. Because one thing I realized about men and women, we go on dates and we already thinking
I
ahead. Like we
know.
texting the girls in the group chat, like, oh yeah, I think this is my husband.
First
And
date.
it's not inherently bad.
Yeah.
However, comma, let's
Mm-hmm.
pause.
Mm.
Men, from the vibe I get, I'm not gonna generalize all. There might be some men that tell their homeboys like, oh, I think she's the one. But for the most part, men don't really go on dates already. Like, I feel like they kind of go on dates starting at 5 or 10. I feel like we kind of go on it starting at like 80, 100. And then I think they go on it a little bit low. And then as they get to know you, that's when, you kind of go up for them. But at least I can speak for me. I
Yeah.
feel like I've kind of always dated with already like,
Yeah.
and then when they do things that I don't like,
Yeah.
it goes down for
Yeah.
me. So I think when I was kind of dating with like, hey, I don't want to put expectations.
Mm-hmm.
You may or might not even be my husband.
Absolutely.
Everybody clearly can't be my husband. I'm only supposed to be married to one person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, stop going in with, and just really just have fun and get to know this person, So I think when I went in like that, it did make it a little bit better.
Yeah.
But of course, I feel like there's pros and cons to everything. So it's like you could go in like that, but then there's the con of it because it's like you're not really building a foundation with someone.
Well, I understand, like for sure. I think having expectations is it's okay. I think you can't just go in, it's like whatever, just come.
Oh yeah.
So having expectations is okay. And it definitely is way funner when you don't have expectations.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you're just like, ooh, look, I was living it up.
Having fun.
I don't care. But like once you start maturing and like changing and wanting different things, it's okay to have those expectations. But at the same time, like people have to prove themselves. And it's nothing, I don't think that is anything wrong with that. It's just like, yeah, you say you're good. You say you're a good person. You have a great job, great credit score, wonderful.
Correct.
Let me see that.
Yeah.
Let me figure it out. And it doesn't even have to be any discussion that you have with them.
Of course, yeah. Of course, yeah. That's something you just vetting on your own.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's just part of it. I think that's just life, and we're just growing as women. And they're growing as men too.
And I think the more you grow and you are someone who isn't surface, because I don't consider myself a surface level person. I feel like I have a lot of depth to myself. And I think when you're not surface level, I think it could be a little bit harder meeting people who, in a sense, for the most part, are on the same wavelength. Because you can vibe with anyone. You can go on I could go on a date right after this and have a ball, However, there's more to life and more to relationships than vibes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I have met people, whether it's a girl or a guy, I'm out and I met people and I had a ball with them. But that doesn't mean like, oh, yes, you're my bestie for life, or oh, yes, you're my husband. There's more to it than the vibes. It has to be a solid foundation. It has to be alignment. And then on top of that, God's will. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that goes into it. So it's like, I can vibe with you all day, weekend, because I've had some men, I've had great dates with them, the great dating experience, but clearly we were in alignment or in God's will, you know? So I think that it can be harder finding someone to literally be on the same page and wavelength as you. Because I'm at a point where I'm pretty ready and open. I'm not that person that feels like I need to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Because there's a possibility I might not ever be one. And that is okay.
Yeah.
As long as I have a good bit of money in my account, we good to go. But I know men are a little bit more different. They want to have status and millionaire and all that kind of stuff. I'm okay with making a modest salary and getting married. Like,
maybe I need to interview a dude that's like
in his
20s, like 25.
Would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, and he just got married.
Yeah. I know, y'all. This is a podcast for the girls. Okay, but it's kind of, I think it will be like really beneficial to add that male perspective to like the things that we talk about. So if y'all see another dude, because I've had one of my friends from college, I've had him on the podcast. But if y'all see a dude, don't say nothing to me. Okay. We're gonna have to do like a part 2.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Because this is a good one.
We have to do like a part 2. What advice though, before we wrap it up, what advice would you have to a young girl, let's say 18, 19, just entering her womanhood.
Ooh. 18, 19.
Mm-hmm. Or just younger.
Yeah.
Or just younger.
I would definitely say don't grow up too fast.
Mm.
Experience life. Have fun. And whatever fun looks like for you. Because, you know, fun looks different for everyone. Because I feel like sometimes when we hear have fun, it was like, no, it don't really have to be anything too crazy, I promise. Like, just have fun. Yeah. Experience life. If you choose to live on campus, like I said, if I were to ever have kids, I would love for my kids to experience living on campus. Yeah. Please get the full college experience. But have fun, you know, live life. Don't grow up too fast. If you're 19, be 19. If you're 18, be 18. If you're 20, be 20. Yeah. Don't try to be 18 and you want to be 21, because I think that's when it could, you know, that's the expectations, that's the pressure, you know. If you think about it, we all did it. I mean, I'm sure I did. I'm sure when I was 18, I was like, oh, I can't wait to be 21. And then when I was 21, I was like, oh, I can't wait to be 25. You know, it's just like, hey, just be literally where your feet are. If you're 18, be 18, have some fun. But yes, definitely have fun, experience life. Don't grow up too fast. Definitely continue to have a close relationship with your mom, if you have your mom in your life, and if you don't, just another older woman in your life. Because I mean, I'm thankful that like I could call my mom right now and tell her about dating, life, whatever, and she'll give me, you know, insight. And now that I'm older, that's really important. I'm not trying to make it seem like our parents are just naturally always right, because they're humans. Yeah. But I think it's important having, you know, another older woman, and older men too, because girls, we need dads in our lives, in your life. But definitely continue to stick with your family if you could, depending on your relationship with your family. Because I think when you get young, that's when you're at that stage when you're friend, you want to hang out with the girls, which isn't wrong. But it's like, if you could kind of, stick a little bit more with mamas and the aunties and all that kind of stuff, if you can. Yeah, stick with your family, because your family won't naturally always have your better interest than your friends would. Not saying your friends don't have your good interest, because you do need to be around people who do. But let's be honest, your mom, your dad, your sisters, they're going to have a little bit more of an interest, better interest for you than your friends would. The way your friends advise you in dating is going to be different than your mom would. Your friends might say, girl, he ain't that bad. Your mom is like, no, baby. You know? So, yeah, I would definitely say that. Live life. Don't grow up too fast. Continue to stick with, you know, your family. Don't abandon your family. And then, of course, definitely don't run behind a man. Don't run or ruin your life behind a man.
Look at you. You got all the advice for your age. Look at, just wise. Just wise. Well, thank you, Lynn. Go ahead and plug yourself. Like, if you want people to reach out to you, or if they have a question about the rewritten journals, like, how should they get in contact with you?
Instagram. Our actual Instagram page is Rewritten LLC, and then my personal Instagram is Harolyne.s. HAROLYNE.s. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, those are my Instagram handles.
All right. Thank you so much, Lynn, for being on the podcast. I really love this episode. We're gonna have a part 2. We're gonna have a part 2 for sure. And all of Lynn's information, like her personal Instagram, her business Instagram, will be in the description. Anywhere this podcast is streamed, that's Spotify, that's Apple Podcasts, that's YouTube Podcasts, and then also there are clips, or will be clips, on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Akila.
Of course.